Hi everyone, I'm a few minutes late and I am sorry about that. Today my message or my Facebook Live is about essential legals for businesses and solopreneurs at startup. I want to talk to you about 4 key legals that people need, and it's not a luxury, or you may not you can't just put it off. It's something that will provide foundational support for your business in terms of clients working well with you, in terms of getting paid on time, in terms of protecting your business and allowing it to grow, in a way that your business, your ideas and your vision is supported and protected as well. So let's get into it. The first things first, all businesses now will have some online presence, and it's usually a website. Many businesses start up with a Facebook business page, but once traction occurs and you move along, you are now then looking at having a website. When you have a website, there's a couple of things, and this will take you to 5 documents, but I need to mention it now. And that is, if you're doing your own website, and many people are tech savvy enough to do that, and others like myself will give that project to a website developer. Be sure that you have an agreement or a contract from your website developer that is easily comprehended, so you understand the contract and that you believe it to be fair and reasonable. So if you really want to work with a particular website developer and you get the contract and it's really difficult to understand, that's not the thing to do. There is to contact them and say, listen, I really want to work with you, but I don't understand your contract. Can you give me something simple and straight to the point? Usually people don't realize when they've created a contract for their clients, they've just haven't given much thought to how it is communicated to the client and how the client comprehends it. So if you ask them for a simpler version, chances are they will provide you with a simpler version and a comprehensible version. So that's really important. And if there are terms in there that you want to negotiate or question, that's the time to do it. There are often a lot of problems with people, especially small businesses, entrusting their website to developers where the contract is difficult, it's cumbersome, you didn't really understand it in the first place, and you wish that you had asked for a simpler contract and then negotiated terms around it, especially delivery times and content provision. Okay, so the second, so now you have your website up and running and it's about to launch, or you've already launched. The second key legal document that you require, or the key legal terms and conditions or policy that you require, are your website legals. So that's your website terms of use. Your website terms of use is different from your client agreement. Your website terms of use refers to your website. It talks about how people engage with your website. It talks about how you can manage the interaction with people on your website, how you want to deal with the content on your website, what people can download, what they can't, what they can use it for, generally their behavior in interacting with your site, age restrictions of interacting with the site, and the services that you do provide through the website is that's the place to mention it. That's where you also talk about how you if something goes wrong with your website and it's down, that you have disclaimers in place and statements about the liability you take on or choose not to take on as a result of that failure of your website, or the effect it might have on people's businesses. So that's your website terms of use. The other thing that I think the second document has been front of mind to everyone, and that's your privacy policy. So website terms of use and privacy policies are read in conjunction with each other. And your privacy policy, you would have heard the word privacy policy over and over and over and over again in the last the last 4 weeks with the GDPR regulations kicking in on May 25th. So essentially, if you have a business and you are collecting personal information, you need a privacy policy. And this is for online and offline businesses. But for our purposes today, we're talking about online businesses. If you have an online business and a website, you want to make that website work for you by increasing the reach and by increasing your client base and by increasing your conversions. So, like it or not, that process will involve you building an email list at some point, and it will involve you tracking the behavior of people that land on your site. So you may not have an email list now, but you will be having visitors to your site. And the best thing to do right now, if you have an online business, is to have a GDPR compliant privacy policy that covers the reasons why the information you're asking for from people, why you are asking for that information, for what purpose. You need to talk about the legal reason or the lawful ground for asking for that information, how you use that information, how you store that information, and the information owner, the data users, rights in relation to that information once it is in your care or in your possession. So, to recap, we've covered 3 documents: the website developer's contract, the website terms of use, and the privacy policy. Privacy policy is topical right now. It's important because it actually is something that is linked right through your marketing process and through your communication processes with your client. Anytime you're asking for information of any kind, an email address, a phone number, any sensitive details, you must have a privacy policy available for people to be able to access and to read and understand what it is that they, how it is that you are managing their information. The next document that I want to talk to you about, which is a key document, and that's number 4, is your business terms and conditions. So I've had a number of calls today dealing with people who are now thinking about their business terms and conditions for various reasons. One person that I've spoken to today has decided that she needs to have terms and conditions in place because she now has a list of debtors. And the reason she has a list of debtors is because her terms are not clear at the time of engagement of her service. So she wants something very clear, very precise, to the point, and in line with Australian consumer law and her business processes that will enable her not to have conversations with people about when she's going to get paid. So the business terms and conditions may not seem something that you would attend to in the early days of your business, but certainly if you are now seeing clients taking money, dealing with scheduling, having cancellation requests for refunds, you are working in a field where you are giving advice, where you've had you need to have some kind of process in place for managing feedback or unhappy clients. It's time to get a client agreement. Now, client agreements can be also called business terms and conditions, so they can be called terms of engagement, they can be a service contract. There's a lot of work, these terms are interchangeable. So that's, you're stepping up in your business when you are ready to do that. And you are ready to do that when you are actually seeing clients and you have some indication to yourself about how it is that you want to operate your business, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Provided it's in line with consumer law, you can run your business how you want. But it doesn't mean anything if you don't communicate that to the client. They also need to be educated about how best to work with you so that you produce the best outcome. That's it for today. The 4 documents that I wanted to talk to you about were the website developer's contract, the website terms of use, the privacy policy to ensure it's GDPR compliant now, and your business terms and conditions or service contract or terms of engagement, whatever you wish to call it. Next week, I will talk about another aspect of business. I do have a list. It's not right in front of me now. So have a wonderful day and weekend, and I shall see you next week. Thank you. Bye for now.